In just one season, Japanese fishermen earn over $2 million from a single species, Fugu, the infamous pufferfish that can kill with one bite. Behind this luxury delicacy lies an industry built on centuries-old tradition, razor-thin profit margins, and the constant threat of danger not from the sea, but from the fish itself. In Shimonoseki, Japan's Fugu capital, entire generations have risked their lives to master this trade. Each winter, when cold waters bring the fish closer to shore, hundreds of small wooden boats set out. Before dawn, Fugu isn't just seafood here. It's a symbol of Japanese craftsmanship, a source of local pride, and a $2 million seasonal lifeline for the community. What began 100 years ago as subsistence fishing has evolved into a tightly regulated national industry, supplying luxury restaurants from Tokyo to New York. Before sunrise, when the sea is still dark and heavy with mist, the fishermen of Shimonoseki gather on the docks. Their boats are small, weathered steel hulls patched and re-welded over decades, but each carries the weight of generations. They push out quietly, guided by experience more than instruments. The smell of diesel, salt, and cold iron fills the air. The ocean here is unpredictable. In winter, icy winds from the Korean peninsula turn the waves sharp and biting. Yet this is when fugu rise from the deep. They hide close to the seabed, near rocky reefs and sand shelves, where they feed on shellfish and crustaceans. Finding them requires not just sonar, but instinct, the ability to read the sea's surface like a language. Each crew spreads long line hooks baited with squid, or lowers wooden box traps designed a century ago. These traps are handmade, their design unchanged. Since their great-grandfather's time, they are lowered carefully, sometimes hundreds of meters deep, and marked with painted buoys that bob in rhythm with the waves. Every trap is a gamble, a silent question to the sea. Will today bring fortune or nothing at all? Hours later, the retrieval begins. The winch groans as the first line comes up, dripping with seawater and foam. The men lean over, eyes fixed on the surface. Then, the flash of silver, a round, balloon-like shape thrashing wildly. It's fugu. The deck erupts in movement. One man grips the line, another slips a net beneath, and together they lift the fish aboard. Each one must be handled delicately. The spines can tear flesh, and the internal organs contain tetrodotoxin, a poison 1,000 times more lethal than cyanide. There is no shouting, no laughter, only focused silence. Every motion is deliberate. Each fugu is placed into a shallow tank filled with chilled seawater to keep it alive and calm. The crew repeats the cycle hundreds of times, trap after trap, in the numbing cold. When the catch is good, the deck becomes a living mosaic of glistening fish, gray, white, and spotted. Their skin tightens and swells when touched, a natural defense against predators. By midday, the boats are heavy. The men's hands are raw, faces red from the wind. They untangle the lines, sort the traps, and start the slow journey back to shore. Some boats catch 50 fish, others only 5. Luck, skill, and weather decide everything. Still, When they see the mountain peaks of Yamaguchi Prefecture reappear on the horizon, every man feels the same small relief. They've survived another day at sea. On the dock, the first crates of fugu are unloaded. The market bell rings, signaling the start of the auction. For the fishermen, it's the climax of days of labor where each fish is weighed, judged, and priced like a work of art. In those few moments, a man's entire week of exhaustion might turn into a single shining envelope of cash. This is the heart of the fugu trade, where danger meets precision and the value of life, both fish and human, is decided by steady hands and ancient skill. By the time the boats return, the docks of Shimonoseki are alive with movement. The cold morning mist gives way to the sound of engines, boots on wet concrete, and the echo of wooden crates sliding across the floor. Every fisherman moves with purpose. There's no time to waste. Fugu must be sorted, inspected, and registered within hours of landing to maintain its strict food safety certification. Under the harsh fluorescent lights of the market warehouse, inspectors in white coats and rubber gloves wait with clipboards in hand. These men and women are licensed by the Japanese government, part of a national network that enforces one of the most rigid seafood safety systems in the world. Their job is simple, yet critical, to decide which fish are safe, which are not, and which must go back to the sea. Each fugu is lifted from its tank, dripping water onto the scales. The inspector measures its length, checks its weight, and identifies its exact species. Japan recognizes over 20 different kinds of pufferfish, but only a handful can be legally sold for food. The tiger fugu, or tora fugu, is the most prized. Firm flesh, subtle sweetness, and dangerously toxic organs. Others, like karasu fugu or mame fugu, are strictly prohibited for sale. The process is slow and deliberate. A mistake here could cost lives. The inspector tags each approved fish with a colored label indicating origin, size, and toxicity classification. The fishermen watch in silence. Every rejected fish means lost income, but no one argues. In this industry, trust is built on compliance, and the line between pride and recklessness is razor thin. Beside the sorting tables, a smaller team handles the release of undersized or spawning females. They are returned to the sea under supervision, a practice rooted not only in law but in cultural respect for balance and renewal. In Shimonoseki, fishing rights are inherited, and every fisherman knows that overfishing today could mean nothing left for their sons tomorrow. Once the inspection is complete, the fish are stored in chilled tanks or packed in oxygenated containers for transport. A government official stamps the shipment papers, certifying that each fugu has passed toxicity verification and origin tracking. From this moment, every fish can be traced from the market floor back to the individual boat that caught it. It is an intricate ballet of precision and accountability. The regulations may seem severe, but they are the only reason Japan's fugu industry still exists. One fatal mistake could destroy not only a restaurant's reputation, but the livelihood of an entire coastal town. here. Every rule is written in both ink and memory, a contract between the sea, the state, and the people who live by it. When dawn breaks over Shimonoseki Market, the scene feels almost theatrical, a century-old ritual replayed with every sunrise. Inside the cavernous auction hall, long rows of plastic tubs glisten under the white lights. Each one holds live fugu, their gills pulsing gently in aerated water. The air hums with a mix of salt, whispers, and anticipation. At exactly 6 a.m., the auction bell rings. The floor erupts in motion. Brokers wearing rubber boots and navy jackets crowd the aisles, waving their hands in the rapid-fire sign language unique to Japan's seafood markets. Within minutes, hundreds of fugu change hands, the day's entire catch redistributed to restaurants and wholesalers across the country. Each season, this market alone handles over 300 tons of fugu, is worth an estimated $2 million. It may not sound massive compared to tuna or salmon, but in terms of value per kilogram, fugu stands among the most profitable fish in the world. A single large tiger fugu can fetch over $200 at auction, its price fluctuating daily based on freshness, species, and weather conditions. The buyers are experts, chefs, traders, and restaurateurs who can judge a fish's quality with a single glance. Some travel overnight from Osaka or Tokyo, competing fiercely for the best lots. The competition can be brutal. One misread signal can mean losing thousands of dollars in seconds, but for those who win, the rewards are immense. The highest grade fugu will end up on porcelain plates in Ginza's luxury restaurants, or flash frozen for shipment to Hong Kong and Seoul. The scale is national from Shimonoseki in the south to Niigata in the north. Every winter season turns Japan's coastline into a living network of boats, markets, and refrigerated trucks. Even small fishing towns depend on this rhythm. When the fugu season begins, local economies wake up. Shipbuilders, ice suppliers, and transport companies all share in the brief surge of income. Compared globally, Japan's fugu industry is a small but elite niche. Unlike mass harvests of cod in Norway or pollock in Alaska, this trade thrives on precision and scarcity. Its survival depends on quality, not quantity, on the ability of humans to manage danger instead of eliminating it. In the end, every crate sold, every bell rung, every envelope of yen passed across the table adds up to one remarkable fact: over $2 million in a single season, born not from abundance, but from discipline, tradition, and courage. Once the bidding ends, the silence returns. The fishermen exhale, but for the fugu, the journey has only begun. Buyers and handlers move swiftly. Each fish is lifted from its tank, placed into oxygenated seawater containers, and sealed for transport. Trucks fitted with temperature-controlled systems, set precisely between 41 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 510 degrees Celsius, line up along the pier. Timing is everything. Every minute counts toward maintaining the fish's delicate texture and freshness. The next destination is the licensed processing facility, a sterile, tightly regulated environment where only a select few are allowed to work. In Japan, to handle or prepare fugu legally, a person must undergo years of training and pass an intense national exam. Only then do they receive the coveted fugu license, a symbol of trust that takes more than a decade to earn. Inside the facility, a single table is set beneath bright white lights. A craftsman, often in his 50s or 60s, stands poised with his blade, a fugahiki, a knife thinner than a breath, sharpened daily by hand. Each motion is deliberate, almost ceremonial. With quiet precision, he begins to work. The skin is removed in one smooth motion. The belly is opened. His hands never tremble. He isolates the deadly organs, liver, ovaries, and intestines, placing them into a separate sealed container marked toxic. A single mistake could be fatal, both to the eater and the craftsman's reputation. The clean flesh is rinsed in chilled water, then inspected for color and firmness. Some fish are vacuum-packed and flash-frozen for export, ensuring the toxin remains stable while preserving the taste. Others are sent fresh to Tokyo, Kyoto, or Osaka, where licensed chefs transform them into works of art. In top restaurants, the preparation ritual continues. The chef lays thin, translucent slices of fugu on porcelain, arranging them in the shape of a chrysanthemum, a flower associated with both celebration and death in Japan. Each petal-thin piece glows like glass under the light, an aesthetic born from risk and restraint. For the diner, the price of this beauty is steep, up to $200 per serving, yet the experience borders on spiritual, eating something that could kill you if prepared by the wrong hands. Every step, from the temperature of the transport tank to the angle of the chef's knife, reflects the century-old choreography of the fugu industry. There is no automation, no shortcuts, only skill and patience. And though modern machines could speed up the process, they could never replace the human judgment that keeps this trade alive. In an era of industrial fishing and global supply chains, fugu remains defiantly human-preserved, not just through cold storage, but through tradition, memory, and respect for danger. As night falls over Shimonoseki, the market lights fade, and the hum of the day quiets into the steady rhythm of waves against the dock. For the fishermen, this is when the numbers start to matter. Beneath the poetry of tradition lies a cold, mathematical truth. Every cast, every haul, every storm endured translates into yen, the lifeblood of families and towns built entirely around this single fish. A good fugu season lasts barely 3 months, but in that short window, the community can earn more than $2 million. Collectively, the fishermen who brave the winter seas often bring home $30, $000 to $50, $000 per man, depending on the weather and luck. The captains of the most successful boats, those with decades of experience and prime fishing zones, can earn double that, though their fuel costs, maintenance, and licensing fees take a heavy bite. Beyond the docks, the ripple effect spreads wide. The auctioneers, fish brokers, and market workers earn steady commissions. The processing facilities, with their licensed experts, operate year-round preparing fugu for domestic and international demand. Even the local restaurants, inns, and knife craftsmen who forge the fugahiki blades share in the seasonal windfall. Economists estimate that Japan's fugu trade generates over $100 million annually nationwide, a figure that might seem modest next to industrial tuna or shrimp exports, yet its cultural and symbolic value is immeasurable. Fugu sustains entire coastal towns, not by volume, but by craftsmanship. Each fish sold represents a network of hands: the diver who caught it, the inspector who tagged it, the chef who sliced it, the tourist who paid for the experience. And still, the system teeters on fragility. A bad winter storm, a red tide, or a government import freeze could erase a family's income overnight. Insurance is rare, and the sea offers no guarantees. Yet these men return every year, not just for money, but for identity. They are fugu fishermen, part of a lineage stretching back a century, and their pride is tied to the rhythm of the tides. For the urban elite who savor thin petals of fugu sashimi in Ginza or Seoul, the dish is a mark of status. But for the men who caught it, it's the product of frostbitten hands, salt-soaked decks, and nights of quiet endurance. Behind every elegant plate served in a polished restaurant lies a hidden economy of courage, one where danger and discipline feed not only the market, but the human spirit. The story of Japan's fugu fishermen is not an isolated tale. It echoes across the world's coasts, wherever people still live by the sea's mercy, from Louisiana's shrimp trawlers to Alaska's crab fleets, from Iceland's cod longliners to Vietnam's anchovy harvesters. The same heartbeat of risk and resilience can be heard beneath the waves. In Louisiana, shrimpers set out before dawn just as the Japanese do, navigating the brackish Gulf waters that feed America's seafood industry. The heat is different, the language is different, but the struggle is the same to pull wealth from a living, unpredictably ocean. Their nets haul in thousands of pounds of shrimp, destined for supermarkets and restaurants, sustaining entire southern communities. Far north, off the Alaskan coast, crab boats face their own brutality: freezing storms, 20-foot waves, and months away from family. Their catch, like the fugu, is a mix of danger and reward. Each king crab hauled from the Bering Sea is worth a small fortune, yet every season takes lives. Still, the men return. The rhythm of courage is universal. Even in the heart of the United States, where oceans give way to plains, echoes of this tradition remain. Cattle ranchers in Texas, wheat farmers in Kansas, and fishermen in Maine all face the same equation: labor, patience, and faith in nature's return. Technology has advanced, machines have replaced hands, but some trades still survive, only because people refuse to let them die. Japan's fugu industry, with its century of rules and rituals, stands as a living symbol of this balance. It proves that even in an era of automation and globalization, there are still corners of the world where human skill outweighs machine efficiency and heritage outweighs profit. So, as the season ends in Shimonoseki and the last boat ties its ropes to the pier, another begins half a world away in a shrimp bayou, an Alaskan harbor, or a Norwegian fjord, différents langages, same devotion, all bound by one truth. To harvest from nature is to understand both its generosity and its limits. As the last light fades over the harbor, the sea turns to glass. The boats lie quiet, moored and empty, their decks still slick with salt and memory. The men head home in silence, carrying the scent of the ocean on their clothes and the weight of another season behind them. In the distance, the faint glow of the fish market flickers out, a reminder that tomorrow it all begins again. For the outside world, Fugu is a delicacy, a dangerous thrill served on fine porcelain under golden lights. But for these fishermen, it is not excitement or glamour. It is work, devotion, and inheritance. Every scar on their hands tells a story of storms endured, of nights when the sea offered nothing, and mornings when it gave back life. A century of rules, rituals, and human willpower has kept this fragile industry alive, not because it is profitable, but because it is meaningful. It embodies a truth that modern life often forgets. Survival is not about efficiency, it's about endurance. In every slice of fugu sashimi lies a chain of courage, from the fisherman who faced the winter tide to the craftsman who risked everything with his blade. Their stories intertwine, forming an invisible thread that connects tradition, danger, and beauty. This is not just about fish. It's about human resilience, the quiet determination to face nature, respect it, and live by it. Cree. So the next time you see a plate of fugu, thin, translucent, perfect, remember the hands that brought it to life. The sea gave them danger, and they turned it into art. Would you choose modern safety or ancient skill to secure the food of the future? Tell us in the comments below. And if you believe these traditions deserve to be seen, like, share, and subscribe, because every story of survival deserves to be heard.